Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's sports podcast. It's Friday, the 10th of September 2021. I'm going to sort of like say this week's podcast will be a little bit different because my preparation has been disrupted by a few technical issues, shall we say, but I'll do my best to make it as similar as possible. I'm going to start a different way though today because the first thing I think we should talk about is saying congratulations to Emma Raducanu on reaching the Women's US Open tennis final after winning the semi-final in straight sets last night. She's only 18 years old. She's from Kent. Basically, she's only in a second Grand Slam. She did well at Wimbledon until she sort of like nerves got the better of her, and I think it was a fourth round match there. But she's performed fantastically, getting through 3 qualifying games. And I don't think she's dropped a set so far because I believe she won again last night in straight sets against Sakari. So good luck to her in the final. It'd be fantastic if she could win. So it'd be nice to see a British lady win a major tennis tournament, and it comes in the same week that Team Europe women's team won the Solheim Cup. They defended their trophy against the USA by winning 15-13 earlier in the week. So it's been a good week for the girls, and also in the world of cricket. The ladies team completed a 2-1 series victory over New Zealand last night. I actually watched that, and it was a really exciting game. And England won with about 1 ball to spare, I think, with a few wickets left. They had a bit of a wobble near the end, but they won against a decent New Zealand team. They're a good ladies team in T20, and they've got the one-day series coming up starting next week. So let's see if we can win that as well. So they were the headline stories that I wanted to bring to you just now, because also the other headline story is the fact that the last fifth and final test between England and India has been cancelled this morning due to an outbreak of COVID within the Indian camp. Now, initially, it was declared, and obviously it was a tweet from the ECB, which was later deleted, to say that India had forfeited the game, and that is not the case. It appears that they're working together with the BCCI, the ECB, to try and reschedule the game, and it may well possibly take place next year when India are here for a white ball tour. So nothing's been confirmed yet. Realistically, they probably can't play it now because the IPL resumes in a couple of weeks' time. And quite a few of our players, like obviously Josh Butler is one of them, thinking of straight away, will be taking part in the conclusion of that tournament, so it'll disrupt that. So they aren't going to play it now. So I think it's probably the right thing to do. Hopefully, it will get resolved in the right manner, really, by playing the fifth test, even if it's a year late, rather than just saying, "Oh, India have won because of whatever," or India forfeit the game. So, because it's been a really good series, and after England sort of collapsed away a bit on Monday to give India a 2-1 victory, it was disappointing for England, but India did bowl really, really well on Monday. Bumrah bowled a fantastic spell, 2 fantastic balls to get rid of Pope and Bairstow. So, they were the main things there with the cricket. So, during the week, we've had the international break obviously going on. England have played 3 games in the last week. I think I've mentioned the first one because we'd already played the first one when we looked at last week's podcast, or we did last week's podcast. But since then, they had a comfortable victory with basically the second string team on Sunday against Andorra. They had a tough draw against Poland on Wednesday night in Warsaw. Poland scored a late equaliser. I think it was like 4 minutes into injury time, or there were 4 minutes of injury time. They scored in injury time anyway with a header, which was a good goal. Can't complain about that, but it was our only chance they had in the game, other than a mistake by Jordan Pickford where he kicked the ball against one of the Polish players and almost conceded the goal. But Harry Kane scored a fantastic strike, and England basically dominated the game as much as they could. But they should still be comfortable qualifiers for the World Cup because the next 2 games, I believe, are against San Marino and Andorra, so they're going to win those 2, and it means either, because I think there's 4 games left to qualify for all the teams in the group. That would mean that the other teams can't get to 22 points possibly. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure. Well, I'm pretty sure actually that is the case. So it looks good for England. The Premier League returns this weekend, and all eyes will be on Old Trafford, no doubt, for the return of Cristiano Ronaldo. Whether he starts or not, I don't know. Maybe he'll be on the bench. I suppose it depends on how the players are for all the different clubs when they get back from the international break. Most teams won't be affected. The European teams will be affected. The South Americans won't, apart from Tottenham. Obviously, there was the incident between Brazil and Argentina where the health officials came onto the pitch in Brazil and stopped the game, and it was abandoned, trying to get hold of Emi Martinez and Puente were on the bench, but 2 Tottenham players were also playing, Lo Celso and Romero. It turned out, I didn't notice afterwards, but the Tottenham players didn't get permission from the clubs to go, whereas the Villa players did. I believe they're isolating. They're going to fly back. The 2 Villa players are supposed to be flying back to Croatia to isolate, so they only miss one game this weekend, whereas the Tottenham players I think are playing all 3 games, so I don't know what's going to happen with them. They'll get sanctioned, fined and miss several games here. It's all been kicking off, but I don't want to go into the political side of it really, but yeah, that could have some impact on Tottenham's team. Big games this weekend. Leeds against Liverpool Sunday is the main game on Sky. Villa are away to Chelsea for a difficult game on Saturday afternoon. We already mentioned Manchester United. They're at home to Newcastle at Old Trafford. So they should be confident winning that game, I would have thought. Arsenal are at home to Norwich. Now Arsenal desperately need some points at the bottom of the league, and if you can't beat Norwich, I think Arteta's going to be a bit of trouble there. But they are strengthened now by the signature of Martin Odegaard, so that may help. I think we've got this Monday night game as well. I can't remember who it is. It might be West Ham and Burnley, but I think there's a Monday night game as well. So obviously there's a full programme of games this weekend, and we're still sort of like getting to the point where we haven't developed the league properly. We'll have 3 games. There's with a 4th game, so we'll see how it goes. So, and elsewhere, Halifax are at home to Southend in the National League in the conference. First time we've played Southend in some time after they dropped out of the Football League. I unfortunately will be missing this game because I'm going to the Stock Car World Final at Odsal, but we'll come on to that in a moment. But it's an important game for Town. We signed a new striker Jack Vale, who's under 21 Welsh player. He's under 21. He's from Blackburn, and Pete Wells said he was somebody he's been trying to get for 2 years. So it sounds like it could be a good signing. The Blackburn fans generally have said he's a good player. So let's hope he's going to do the business for Town. After last week's poor performance at Yeovil, they were very poor on Saturday. I know it was only 1-0. Yeovil didn't play well. It wasn't a very good game. I had friends who don't normally watch Halifax Town who watched it and said they weren't impressed with the standard of football. And that doesn't bode well for us when people are saying that. You want to impress the neutrals and floating fans, if you call them that. So let's hope they can get up the game. They played generally before that. They played against Altrincham and played really well at home in the game on the bank holiday Monday. So let's hope they can get back to something like that, because Southend won't be easy. So fingers crossed for the Shaman. Okay, now we're going to move on to the local cricket scene, and tomorrow is the final day of the season, and it's all to play for. Basically, after last weekend's results, I'll just quickly run through last weekend's results. Booth got the better of Blackley. Booth took 11 points to Blackley's 5. Myvenroyd beat Bradshaw. I'll come on to that in a moment. Bradshaw won't be happy with the batting performance. Myvenroyd got 12. Bradshaw scored 3. Illingworth beat Copley, so Illingworth got 12. Copley got 4. Sowerby Bridge had a much needed victory. They beat Shelf and North Arm Hedgetop, who are already consigned to the drop. So it was 12 points for Sowerby Bridge and 2 points for Shelf. SBCI beat Triangle, which was a big surprise. And in the other game, Thornton beat Worley. So as far as the title and the relegation picture is concerned, it's still all to play for. Bradshaw had a disappointing defeat. They managed to bowl Myvenroyd out for 187. Simon Collins did his best. Great performance from Simon, one of the many 5-wicket hauls throughout his career. His final figures were 5 for 40, so a great performance there from Simon with the ball. I also mentioned Anthony Langton took 3 for 40, and Aaron Buckley got 2 for 42. So a good all-round bowling performance and a reasonable sort of like display there. But when it came to the batting, I'm afraid to say it wasn't very good for Bradshaw. They were 39 all out, and not a single player reached double figures. Piers Fisher with 9 was the highest scorer, and the last 4 men didn't score a run between them, which is really disappointing. So I think they know that wasn't what the result they were looking for. Now, with regards to Sowerby Bridge, they obviously had a good win and they beat Shelf and North Arm Hedgetop. Sowerby Bridge put on 184 for 9 for their 45 overs, and it started fairly steadily, and sort of like no major contributions, little bits here and there. Chris Metcalf was the top scorer with 32 runs. He had a good start to the season, but his season sort of like went a bit off in the middle, but he's come back in now and hopefully can put in another performance in the last game. A few 20s. James Taylor got 28 and Joshua Wood got 26. Tom Belfield got 20, and at the end he had Paul Smith who's come back, 22 for him, and Jake Dixon got 22 not out. So good performance overall, really, nothing outstanding. And then when it came to Shelf and North Arm Hedgetop's turn to bat, they managed to bowl Shelf and North Arm out for 89, and a good performance there from Jake Dixon, who took 5 for 11, 8 overs. That's excellent. 2 wickets each for Tom Belfield and John Brown, also 1 wicket for Sam Miller. So good performance all round on the ball there. So that's a good result. So now, if we look at the games tomorrow, I will talk about the table in a minute. But tomorrow's games: Blackley take on Sowerby Bridge, Copley take on SBCI, Myvenroyd take on Illingworth St Mary's, Shelf Northam Hedgetop play Bradshaw, Thornton play Booth, and Triangle will be playing Whalley. So the big games there. Let's start with the relegation issues. Blackley against Sowerby Bridge. Now, Blackley at 9th and Sowerby Bridge at 10th at the moment on average points. Then you've got the game between Shelf and North Arm Hedgetop and Bradshaw. Shelf and North Arm Hedgetop, as I've already mentioned, are down. Bradshaw are in 11th place at the moment, so they're in a drop seat at the moment. Obviously, I want to see them get out. I want to see them get out, and Sowerby Bridge get out as well. So results need to go the right way. So nothing, like I said previously, nothing against Blackley, but I'd rather see them go down than my two teams that I favour. So come on, boys, you've got to be able to do a good performance tomorrow. It's going to be more difficult perhaps for Bradshaw because of the previous, whether they can lift themselves after last week, but then again they're playing the weakest team in the league, so I'd like to think they're going to win that game. Sowerby Bridge's confidence will be boosted by their result last weekend against Shelf and North Arm, but obviously the issue may have been the fragile batting lineup during the season, but that's improved. Last game was a lot better, so let's see if it can do it. At the top of the table, it's Myvenroyd who lead the way at the moment, average points, and they're on to Illingworth St Mary's, so they'll be looking to just win it and try and wrap up the title. Whilst we also know that Triangle are just behind, and so are Booth, so they've both got an outside chance of winning the title as well. So it's going to be a very, very exciting day in the Halifax Cricket League tomorrow. So keep your eyes peeled on what's going on. If you look at the Halifax Cricket League Twitter feed and the actual club's individual Twitter feeds, such as the Sowerby Bridge one and the Bradshaw one, you'll have an idea of what's going on around the league. So that's what's happening in the Premier League. Halifax all to play for tomorrow, last day of the season, and let's hope it goes the way of the teams that I favour. Okay, so now moving on from cricket, we're going to look at some other stuff. Tomorrow night sees the Stock Car World Championship Formula 1 final, Odsal Stadium in Bradford. I think there's 86 cars booked at the moment. There's also a meeting tonight for foreign drivers, well basically Dutch drivers, and I think there's one Belgian driver as well, plus some of the lower grade British drivers racing tonight. So I think it's 29 cars tonight and 86 tomorrow. For those going to this evening, weather's sort of okay. There's a bit of a rain forecast for today, so the track may be a little bit grippy. Obviously need to prepare it for tomorrow. I think the mini stocks are on tonight along with the 2 litre saloons. There's a rumour that Tom Harris, the current Formula 1 world champion, may be racing a saloon if he can get the right car, but whether he'll want to risk that the night before the world final, I'm not sure. So on to the big event tomorrow. It starts at 5:30. They're actually opening the pits up for a meet and greet with the drivers before the meeting. I think it's between 3:30 and 4:45. So if you want to go in and see your drivers, get things signed by them, have a picture, that's your chance. Because at Odsal, that never really happens. They haven't done it since I think the mid-80s. There haven't been any pit access at all. So it's a one-off, agreed with the Drivers Association, and obviously they must have discussed it with the council. So that's a chance to meet like legends like John Lund, Frankie Wayman, Tom Harris, Paul Harrison, Nigel Green, any of the top guys that you know. Who's going to win the world final? Well, you've got to fancy Tom Harris because he is the best driver out there in my opinion. He's the current world champion. He's on pole position inside, but Oddsal's, it's interesting. It's the first season back. It's narrow into the bends and it's wide in the bends, so you've got to be worried about getting through traffic. I think I saw an interview with Tom Harris the other evening, and he was saying the thing was getting caught in traffic was the worry for him, if anything. He'll be hoping to get away. My personal hope is that Craig Finney can win a second world title on the track where his dad won his only world title in 1990, so good luck to Craig. He also got to take it seriously consider drivers like Lee Fairhurst, Nigel Green, Ryan Harrison. You know, you can't discount any of those guys. They're all former world champions. They're all at the top of the game really. They've all got good quality cars and they're all fast round Odsal, so should be a good meeting. Should be a good race, and may the best man win. I'd love it if Lundy could win from the back as well. John Lund, 67-year-old, on the back of the grid with Frankie Wayman Jr. I think Frankie feels it's a case of he's either going to crash or he's going to win. He's never won a world title at Odsal. He's had a lot of bad luck in the past at Odsal. Maybe it's like this could be his chance for redemption. You never know. But as long as it's a good race and we get a good value for money out of it, I'm really looking forward to it. So if you go in, expect a good meeting. Well, the weather forecast for tomorrow looks okay. I think it's a bit cloudy, mainly dry, so track conditions should be okay. The main race I think is starting at 7:15 or around 7:15. So hopefully, like I say, they're expecting a crowd of around 6,000, maybe a little bit less than you'd expect normally. But obviously, the Dutch fans can't travel, and Steve Rees, the promoter, said he was expecting probably up to 2,000 Dutch visitors. So it's a bit of a blow, but still a good crowd. And hope after all the work is put into the reintroduction of stock cars at Oddsall, let's hope he gets a well-deserved payoff from it. So good luck to everybody concerned there. Also tomorrow evening we've got the next round of a Speedway Grand Prix. That's in Vojens in Denmark. 1 point in it at the moment between Swanslik and Laguta. I can't see past either of those two in terms of the World Championship this season, so hopefully we'll get a good meeting. It's a good track, is Vojens. The weather's not always kind at Vojens, but the last time when I've been, it's been alright, to be fair. We've seen some good races. It's a bit tighter than some of the other tracks in the Grand Prix series, so may make for more challenging conditions for someone like Laguta and Smarslik, who favour the bigger tracks. It might play more in time to someone like Lindgren, who used to ride for Wolves, obviously, and he likes the tighter tracks. He can ride any track. So, but if you're going to be the world champion, you've got to be able to ride any track. Let's hope that Ty can put in a good performance. And Robert Lambert had a bit of a dip last time, so let's hope he can get back to somewhere near his best and put in a good performance too. So moving away from the Grand Prix, in the domestic speedway in England, we're more or less at the point now where we know it's going to finish. Wolves are top, Peterborough second. They ride each other on Monday. It's a BT Sport live meeting, I believe, on Monday at 7:30 p.m. So tune into that if you've got a chance on Monday evening. And then we've got third place is Bellevue at the moment. Fourth is Sheffield. Bellevue beat Sheffield at home fairly convincingly. I think it was 54-36 in the end up on Monday. So it was quite close for quite a while. But last 3 or 4 races, Bellevue pulled away. Saw a return to form for Steve Worrell. Good performance all round, really. Tom Brennan put in a good performance. He's coming on nicely now. Sheffield were disappointed. Jack Holder had quite a poor meeting by his standards. But it looks like it's going to finish that way around. Bellevue are at home to Kings Lynn on Monday, so they should win that match. And then we've got basically the playoffs start on 27th. There's one more, I think, domestic league match before the playoffs. I think it's going to be Peterborough and Sheffield on Monday the 20th on BT Sport, and then we kick into the playoffs. That's obviously well weather considering, of course. So that's what's going on in the Premier League in the Speedway. The NFL season is about to get underway. It's got underway in the early hours of this morning, and the Buccaneers took on the Cowboys. I haven't looked at the results yet. I'm going to look at it now while I'm talking to you to see what the outcome was. They won. Buccaneers 31, 29 Cowboys. So very, very tight match there. It means my handicap better +9 on the Cowboys will have won, but I need to look at that in a moment. But yeah, the main game, after one game, but the first round of games mainly is on Sunday. I think 6 o'clock and 25 past 9 they normally play at UK time, and then it's usually a late game, sort of like 25 past 1 or whatever on Monday morning, and then one Tuesday morning our time, Monday evening in the USA. So I haven't looked at what the games actually are, but they're underway. So I'm just looking at the scoring sequences from last night's games actually, and it was pretty tight all the way through, to be honest with you. There was only 5 points between the teams in any one single quarter of a game, so it's quite high scoring. First match 21-16 at half time. So yeah, that's what's going on in the NFL. I think that's just about all I want to mention. If I've missed anything, I apologise, but there's been a lot to get through this week, and like I say, it's a little bit disrupted by other stuff going on. But that's all from me for now. I hope you've enjoyed it, and we're back next week with a summary of the end of season at the cricket and updates on obviously what's going on as regards to the Premier League and any changes and what's happening there. Any big news, anything else on the cricket with regards to England and India. Also, we've got the Ryder Cup coming up as well in a couple of weeks' time. I think it's a weekend, 2 weekends from now. So the teams have been declared. I've just noticed that I remember reading that yesterday, but Patrick Reed's been left out by the USA. They call him Captain America, but he's not this time. I know a lot of our fans don't particularly like him, but he's a good player. The American team looks very strong, I've got to say. They've got some brilliant players. We've got good players as well, don't get me wrong. We have got some good players, but yeah, they're struggling a bit in terms of rankings. But yeah, hopefully we can still come together as a team and win it. But we'll talk more about it nearer the time. Anyway, that's it for me for now. So all the best. Have a good weekend. I'll see you next Friday.